My dad was born in 1904.
Okay.
And 2.5 years later, his mom had my Aunt Vera, and then a year and a half after that, she had a third child, which both her and that child died in childbirth. So my dad was 4 and a half. And his dad made the decision that he couldn't take care of the kids. So what he did was he left my dad sitting under an apple tree in a place called Roaring Branch, Pennsylvania. And he put my aunt in an orphanage and took off. So my dad stayed with the sheriff for about 9 months and then went to stay for the sheriff with his uncle. And he got all the way to the third grade. And then he decided to go find his dad. So he spent quite a bit of time chasing around the country trying to find his dad. So when he ended up hoboing, jumping trains, and they both ran for a train in Chicago about this time of year. And my dad, being younger, caught the train. He was 17, and his dad didn't. His dad yelled at him and said, I'll catch up with you in Cleveland. When his dad showed up, he told him, hey, I know a guy that'll give you and me a free steak dinner. All we got to do is sign for it. So they went down and seen this guy, and they went and ate the steak dinner, and then Dad had to sign for it. And as they went to leave, this guy said to my dad, you can't go anywhere. You just joined the Marine Corps. So he didn't read or write. So when he had to put his mark on the paper, it put him in the Marine Corps. And so he was in the Marine Corps for, I guess, 3 years. And he fought down in Haiti. They called it the Banana Wars. It was between World War I and World War II. But he learned to work on telephones. And they had phones that run down the trenches, kind of like World War I. They had what they called sound-powered phones. So he learned to work on them. And when he got out, he went to find his younger sister. And his younger sister was in Newark, Ohio. And she'd been adopted. So he found her. Well, she had a very close friend that was a 15-year-old girl by the name of Hazel Hass. This 15-year-old girl really liked him a lot. And they got a little bit too well acquainted. And her mother got mad and told my dad that she was going to throw him in jail because he was 21, this girl was 15. So he decided the best thing to do would be just get the heck out of town. So he went to Canton, and about 2 weeks later, he comes home from work, and there's this girl sitting on his doorstep. And so he decides that he had better either get married to her, right, or take off where she couldn't find him. So she had stolen the neighbor's Model T. And so they went to Covington, Kentucky, which is across the river from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And at that time, you could get married at 16. So they got married even though she was 15. She lied about her age. The importance of all of that gets us to your first question, which was, he had a third grade education, but that girl was my mother. And she had an aunt that was a school teacher. And it was my aunt now. And she taught my dad how to read and write. I didn't really know how he got his education until after my mom died. And I bought everything that was left in the house. And one thing was a bunch of books. And when I started to read these books, they were goofy books. They would say, to Owl from Nell. Mm-hmm. And it'd be a McGuffey reader. Or it would be a story book, but it would be on a 4th or 5th grade level. Yeah. So she taught him how to read and write. And she helped him get his 2 engineering degrees. So he got a engineering degree in ceramical,
Mm-hmm.
and he got an engineering degree in electrical. Didn't go to school. Went down, took the test,
Okay.
passed the engineering test, became an engineer.